Hey, tonight on the Cooligans, we're going to be talking to Peter Wilt.
That's right. We talked to him a lot. Plus, we talk about a new DP signing in Atlanta, and it ain't what you think.
Okay, so a lot of news today. So all this and more today on the Cooligans!
Yeah, baby!
Okay, let's go.
It's like a Tai Chi Millie rock you were just doing there.
It's a little Tai Chi rock.
Yeah, okay.
I Tai Chi rock on every block.
Very slowly.
Okay, in every dojo. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Christian Polanco.
That's right, and I'm Alexis Guerrero.
All right, we are your favorite stand-up comedians that host the funniest soccer show that you have ever witnessed.
100%.
Okay, and it's not only that.
It's not, right?
It's not just that.
We're something else. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're the gulliest.
That's right.
Yeah, get in their face, Christian.
I got out of the frame and everything.
All right? Let them know what's up.
That's how serious we are.
We don't, we mean it.
Okay? So, yes, welcome to the show. We
bring a Sean Wright Phillip level of smoke
to
every episode.
Okay? We just completely trash our employer as soon as we start the show.
Which, like this couch. He's not kidding.
So yes, welcome to the show, everybody. We have to start today by talking about big news out of Atlanta.
Oh my God! Finally, right? Because everyone was so upset that Julian Gressel got sent to, or he got signed by.
Yeah, he got traded to DC United.
Yeah.
So obviously, there has to be a little bit of damage control because he was a fan favorite.
Yeah, and Darren Eales is like, don't worry about it. We've got a way to mitigate this negative news.
We have a few potential signings that I think are going to fix everything.
But if we took a couple photos and wait till we release these photos, everyone's going to be A-okay.
And this is, I think we realized that, obviously I think Atlanta fans wanted probably players, right, to replace some of the ones that left, but I think this is a good alternative, a good replacement, because Atlanta United,
it's certainly cute,
has signed. He goes by one name, Spike.
That's right. Sounds dangerous. No?
Okay, Spike is a dog.
Yeah. Also, wildly photogenic. Is he a golden retriever?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because if you're going to name it Spike after the spike that they famously hit, it's gold. So you might as well be a golden retriever.
Okay, yeah. I know nothing about dogs. You put a bunch of dogs in a lineup, I'm like, I don't know.
I said this before. I can't tell the difference between...
Those are white males to me. I do not know.
I can't tell the difference between a dog, a fox, a coyote, a wolf. I don't know how people get mad at me. They're like, this one's red. I've seen red dogs before. I don't get it. I don't understand how y'all know the difference. What child video did I not see growing up that y'all saw? I had that thing that spun, and it was like, the cow goes moo. I had that. At no point did they were like, the fox is red.
Alexis,
you know what I mean?
Alexis just got rid of that like 3 weeks ago.
I finally graduated. I finally got to the llama. You know it's impossible to get to that.
But no, this is, look, on one level, great marketing move.
This is great.
Everybody loves puppies.
Buddy, puppies.
Puppies are a hit.
A hit. You want to get your gram up. There's two things you can do. You can have a baby or a puppy. And if you have a baby that is a puppy, buddy, the Instagram likes are going to go crazy. A lot of questions.
A lot of questions. Is the top half baby and the bottom half puppy? Or
did you just birth the whole puppy?
These are fair questions. But no, clearly Darren Eales has this is a good, like I said, damage control. A lot of people
Very
were upset.
much so.
This is like, we trade away, dad left. You know? Dad's not coming back, but
those cigarettes are going to take a long time to go get.
But look at this shiny new puppy.
And so they're training it as a service dog.
Yeah. To service the forwards with crosses and
okay,
good
service. Couple headers, That puppy jumping up. It's like Air Bud. They're doing a new Air Bud.
They're doing Air Bud, okay, the Georgia edition.
Yeah. But I don't know. What is it for blind people? It's a service dog for people with anxiety,
no,
right?
Service dogs can service people who can see as well.
Yeah.
It's not just.
I don't know. I didn't.
I don't know. I don't know the details, but look, he's
I
gonna
didn't read the back of his soccer card.
Yes, and the big thing was, and this was cool from the MLS PA because there were a bunch of photos of the dog, and he was on a plane.
Yeah.
Spike was flying a charter flight to get to his location to get to Atlanta, and MLS PA had a great tweet. They said, "Oh, is that a charter flight?"
And then the monocle.
A little concerned over it seems because look,
They brought this into the CBA negotiation.
It's gonna be an example. Like, oh, you got money on to charter a puppy, from location to location. But after we play the Vancouver Whitecaps, we can't get home quickly.
So what? We gotta have 4 legs? Is that what we gotta do?
Okay. Which is look. I think it's a generally for a lot of the casual fans. I think Atlanta United fans are happy. I think it's a good move.
This doesn't take the pain away from losing players you love.
Exactly.
And also, I thought it was a bad PR move to brand this puppy with 5 stripes. A little much.
Yes. Given that the dog was so young.
Yeah.
Maybe
they feel it. You know what I mean?
Anyway, yes. Cool. I wish Spike a great season.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can contribute on and off the pitch.
Puppy allocation money went a long way.
Pam. We love Pam.
Shouts to Pam.
All right, we'll be back with more after this, guys. Yo, welcome back. So I always try to mix it up with I say yo, I say hey. You
do a couple different things.
So I can hit every demographic across the country. You know
what I mean? Howdy, welcome back.
So everybody's like, okay, he's talking to me.
Oh wow, this segment is for me specifically.
So we have to again. We were in Baltimore for the United Soccer Coaches Convention, and we had a great time. We interviewed a bunch of people, and we have another interview for you guys. This was with Peter Wilt, who is he was the first Chicago Fire GM. He's just really one of these people that before MLS existed in 1996 when it started, he was one of those people, the groundbreaking people in American soccer.
He was getting stuff done.
Exactly.
He was playing. He was like a GM. He was a GM or working for indoor teams before MLS existed, and he is sort of everything in the wake of the NASL shutting down in '84.
Yeah. So a lot of people had to get involved and help American soccer, not only just exist but grow. And he was one of those people. So we get to know him a little bit. So here's our interview with Peter Wilt.
United Soccer Coaches Convention.
Again, we're still here.
We're still here. We're not going anywhere because we keep getting these incredible interviews. And this one, whoo. Yeah, I know. It's you, buddy. This guy, let me see. I think you won MLS Cup in your first year as a GM?
First year in Chicago, yes.
The
double, actually, because we got the U.S. Open Cup that year as well.
All right. Sometimes you got to toot your own horn if you want to hear music. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. Put your hands together unless you're driving. For the one, the only. Peter Wilt, everybody. And look, you did it. Absolutely. You are a figure in American soccer.
Figure 8?
Yeah, something.
Crash in the middle?
Well, here's the thing. When your name gets brought up, a sea of American soccer people have 2 reactions. Big smiles or, oh no, is he here? and why is it so polarizing? Tell the people who you are and why.
I only run into the people that love me. I haven't run into anyone that hates me.
I don't think hate. I think it's
afraid.
It's like fear.
Fear?
Like fear.
Oh, that's fine then. That's fine. I don't know. I suppose because I'm out there in social media quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm fan friendly, and I've taken a different approach than maybe a lot of other executives.
And why is that? Because you're beloved by the fans, especially all of our friends that are Chicago Fire fans. You are wildly beloved, and not just for winning. It's because you sort of bonded with the fans in a way that I don't think I've ever seen from a front office person.
I'd like to think I'm respected and liked by fans in any market that I've started teams. But Chicago, I think in particular because, well, I've started a few different teams there, but also I think they contrast the experience they had while I was there with the experience they've had with executives after I was there, and it hasn't been as good.
Okay.
And at least
That's a very Midwestern way to bust shot.
and like just like Alexis was saying, when your name is brought up, you are a person. I feel like if people are not super connected to the American soccer scene, they may not know who you are. And there's a lot of people that we've met at this convention that have so much history in the game and are partly responsible for getting the game to where it is today. So before you got the job at Chicago Fire in MLS, what were you doing before that?
Yeah, and that's a fair question because I'd been kicking around soccer industry for about 10 years, actually.
Okay.
Before I was hired in Chicago, and actually with minor league hockey before that and baseball before that. But I go back to 1987 and my soccer roots, running the front office for the oldest continuous professional soccer team in the United States. Either of you have a guess of what team that is?
The oldest continuous
Pro soccer team in the United States. Oldest good trivia.
Brooklyn Italians.
Brooklyn Italian. I was gonna say that.
They're not professional.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Cosmos?
Some people think
Yeah.
they're not continuous. They had a
Oh,
break.
yeah.
Some people think it's the team that plays a couple blocks behind where we are right now, which is the Baltimore Blast.
Okay.
The Baltimore Blast fans claim that, but the truth is they took a couple of years off and became the Baltimore Spirit. So
not
in
continuous.
my mind,
You're out.
not continuous. Exactly. So that brings us to the Milwaukee Wave. 1984-85 they
Wow.
started. I started running the front office in 87.
Okay.
And I did that for 4 years. We hired some good people. We
They're
filled the
indoor
Bradley Center
currently.
indoor.
They
Oh, yeah,
are
they've always
indoor,
been, well, they took a little bit as an outdoor team, but they've basically been an indoor team since the beginning. And then I went to be general manager of the Chicago Power of the indoor league back then. And we're
I
fortunate
thought
to
that was
win a championship.
Uh,
an energy company.
Indoors. They're actually in the basement of a refinery.
Maybe that's why they didn't last forever. yeah. They ended up moving to Edmonton, becoming the Edmonton Drillers Part 2, I think, at some point. But so I did Chicago Power. We won a couple championships there. Then went to work for the Minnesota Thunder. I joined them when they went from being an amateur team to a professional team. Worked with Mr. Buzz Lagos, and we won some championships there. And I was recruited to become the first general manager of the Chicago Fire, which was Chicago MLS at the time. Went through the whole branding thing at the beginning.
And here's the thing. You started at a time when now people getting started at the level that you started at, in lower leagues, they're trying to figure out how to make a career out of that. How do you stay in the game? There's so many clubs that are opening and closing and changes being made every year. How did you survive sort of that point to get to the point where you are now?
Yeah, back then in some ways it was easier because it was the dark ages of professional soccer. There was a decade in America where there was no first division outdoor soccer.
Yeah.
Right.
NASL died in 84, MLS basically
96.
96 when they started playing games, a year or two before that where they were getting ready. And that's when I got into it, was during the dark ages. So there weren't as many obstacles or barriers. There weren't as many people trying to get into it. There weren't as many opportunities either, to be fair. But nowadays, it's the opposite. There's a slew of opportunities at every level. I've never seen so many opportunities in professional soccer or now in amateur soccer with the lower divisions. But there's also a huge pool of qualified talent that didn't exist before. I mean, I got my first job in soccer because I told the ownership of the Milwaukee Wave I didn't know anything about soccer. They said they're tired of soccer people telling them how to run their business. I understood sports business at that point because I was working for a successful minor league hockey team, and so they hired me for the business aspect of it. And it kept like that until the late 90s, early 2000s, where it was difficult to find people that had a background in both sports business and knowledge of soccer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we're fortunate. There's this. When I went to talk to the USL folks down in Tampa about the new position I have, they had me meet with, I counted up, I met 17 different people in their front office.
Wow.
And it might have been a quarter of how many people work there.
All at once?
I wish, then it would have been done
made it
easy.
easier, right?
Yeah, but it amazed me afterwards. I thought back on it, I was like, the number of people I met with who are young and really understood what the soccer landscape is and how to promote the sport in this country. And it made me kind of proud, being kind of, I guess, an old man in this industry, that I feel a little bit responsible for helping educate this next generation of administrators.
Well, howdy, y'all. We're back.
Okay. All right, that one felt condescending.
No, that was out of respect to all of our, I don't know, caballeros that are listening.
All right, we're back on track.
Yeah. So this next segment of the Peter Wilt interview, which is absolutely amazing, he talks a little bit more about, just building all these teams and stuff.
Exactly, and his use of social media. He's one of these people. Again, GM, been involved. He works for USL, but you could tweet at him and he will respond.
He's reading them all. He hears what you're saying.
So we talked to Peter Wilt about that.
We saw you last year in Chicago for the United Soccer Coaches Convention, and there were a lot of people from you were involved in Forward Madison. I remember you had the scarf there last year as well, and
I only own one scarf, so I just wear this one everywhere I go.
He's a minimalist.
And I'm curious, because you are so like a front-facing kind of administrator. When social media came around, how did you initially see it, and how did you? Was it an exciting thing, like, oh, cool, I'm going to be able to connect with people, or is it like, oh, I'm going to have to do this now?
It was more of the former.
Okay.
It's an extension of what I've always done in my career, just with different media.
Right.
And it goes back to when I was a kid. When I was in school, I wrote a letter to the owner of the Chicago White Sox, Hall of Fame baseball owner and promoter Bill Veeck. Okay. I was complaining that he hired a former Cub to be a White Sox manager.
Yeah, you can't.
Anathema.
You can't do it.
No. He did. So I wrote him a not nice letter, just to kind of vent.
Right. Got to get it out.
He wrote me back.
Okay.
And it was obvious from his return letter that he had read my letter, and it was customized and personalized.
It's surprising he wrote back, given you you wrote the letter with magazine clippings.
Yeah. How did he get the return address?
So that was great.
Yeah, and the powdery substance didn't
sure.
scare him off either. But it made an impact on me. And I wrote him back. I said, oh, my gosh. And I disagreed with him. I said, no, he's still an ex-Cub. You can't hire this guy. And then he wrote me back. We actually had a dialogue. We became kind of pen pals. And it made an impression on me that I carried over until the day I got to be in a similar position and interact with fans, because I recognize a couple things. What it means to the fan to get that correspondence.
Yeah.
And
but now they get that correspondence so fast.
It has changed. The technology has changed. So when I got into sports originally, it was with the minor league hockey team in Milwaukee, the Admirals, and I would be the designated guy in our office to attend booster club meetings.
Right.
It wasn't supporters clubs, it was booster club meetings. And I was a kid still, just out of college, and I enjoyed going to these booster club meetings. They were drinking beer, I'd drink beer, hang out with them.
Yeah.
I kind of became one of them and developed friendships, and it provided for better continuity and connection between the front office and the fans. I carried that over to when I went to indoor soccer with Milwaukee Wave and Chicago Power, and then by the time the internet started to be impactful with the Minnesota Thunder, there was some of that dialogue going on with the public that I was getting into, but really it was an MLS. BigSoccer.com was the big one.
Yeah.
And it became an efficient way to...
There was a message board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still is out there.
But it was like, for a long time, it was
the
like
place.
Americans didn't have a place to watch or read, or newspapers weren't talking about it, radio shows weren't talking about it, news channels weren't talking about it. Big Soccer was talking about it.
Before Twitter, before Facebook, it was the only way for this subculture of American sports to communicate.
Yeah.
And they did. I was one of the few administrators that took advantage of it and put myself out there for better or worse to develop to answer questions, to clarify issues. And to me, it was just common sense. It served a couple purposes. It prevented wild rumors from getting out of control.
Right.
It answered the questions that were really on fans' minds, and it gave us ideas and perspective from our audience that we needed to take into consideration when making our own decisions, whether it was about the makeup of the team or the marketing efforts, so that we were doing things with the end user in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen so much from your start of your career in soccer to where it is now. I guess for two people like us who kind of, I've been a fan of the game for a long time, but came into American soccer a little bit later.
Last August, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I saw one game and I'm like, you know what? I think I get it.
I've been an Inter Miami fan my entire life.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Nashville SC till I die, dog. But what you've seen is a lot of ups and downs. It's hard for us to sort of place it, right? Where do you think American soccer is right now? And this is, yes, on the heels of the U.S. not qualifying for the World Cup, but now sort of being a little bit further out of it. A MLS player now being the head coach of the men's national team. MLS where it is, the fees coming in, the expansion, the sort of overwhelming call for maybe some changes to the single entity system. Everything you see, where do you think American soccer is now? Preach to us, youngins.
Well, you know, back in the 70s, they said with Pelé and the Cosmos and even Minnesota Strikers and Rochester, they said it's going to be the sport of the 70s. Yeah.
Okay.
All these kids are going to be playing the sport. In the 80s, well, okay, maybe it's a sport of the 80s, sport of the 90s.
We were on too much cocaine in the 70s.
Yeah.
We,
All right.
Take a step back.
we went a little too far. We have big ideas.
Yeah.
So they thought it was going to be a revolution. They thought overnight at some point there'd be maybe an American star that would come about.
Or like this overwhelming love affair with the game.
Right. And the truth is it's always been about an evolution, not a revolution. That's used a lot of spikes and then valleys. A lot of it has to do with signature events, World Cups usually, both men and women. The 99 Women's World Cup was the most important soccer event, I think, in my lifetime because it really made an impact on social aspects of society as well as the sporting aspect.
Yeah.
It was
Absolutely.
I mean, that and Title IX really changed what sports is, and more than sports, what life and opportunities are for girls and women.
And because America did so well, it piggybacked and created change elsewhere in the world, which is great.
Winning always helps.
Yeah.
And then '94 obviously was huge with the World Cup here. It opened the eyes to a lot of mainstream media about the sport. They totally expected it to fail, and it filled the stadiums. And then MLS and the evolution of MLS and signing of key players. Freddie Adu, even though he has failed as a player, he did make a huge impact on the level of acceptance of the sport in this country. And the interest in the sport in the mainstream peaked with his signing. He was worth 9,000 extra tickets for every game when he was playing with DC United.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And then when Beckham came, again, huge, not just for spectatorship, but my goodness, there were stadiums built because of him. There were suites sold because of him. There were broadcast deals done because of him. And there were expansion franchises that went northwards in price because
he filled
of him.
Giants Stadium.
Yeah.
I remember that game. People were like, you got to go. These people that weren't even soccer fans, I'm like, how do you know about this game, you know?
Yeah, and he ended up performing on the field as well, which was nice. It gave more credibility to the signing for the soccer purists that hoped he wasn't just going to be a shiny object. ESPN does an annual survey. What is your favorite American sport to watch, or favorite sport to watch? Soccer did not crack the top 4 between the start of the survey in '93 until 2012. Finally knocked out hockey and auto racing. Baseball's still up there. That's for ages 12 plus. And it's been in the top 4 ever since then. For ages 12 to 24, soccer is now number 2 behind pro football. Now, soccer isn't just MLS in that survey. It's international soccer and all that. Among Latinos, it's number 1. So that shows that, in this evolution, it has now crashed through a certain ceiling. And there's an age wave, obviously. I'm an old white guy. In my demographic, it's still a 1% interest in the sport. And the average age of a World Series viewer is my age, 59. Last year it was my age, 58. Year before it was 57. Does not bode well for baseball's future,
Yeah.
Major League Baseball's future. I think it's a different topic, but minor league baseball is in good shape for different reasons. It's more of a community asset.
Well, now a lot of younger people are watching because of all the cheating drama, and kids love reality shows.
We
in
need the
baseball.
real housewives of Major League Baseball.
I think the cheating will help, actually.
Yeah,
Just like
was.
steroids
Yeah, I
did.
know.
Just like steroids did. It was
So
all
I'm like, come on, MLS, start cheating. Let's get some numbers.
Ni hao, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going international.
We're getting everybody involved.
Yeah.
So, yes, we hope you are continuing to enjoy our interview with Peter Wilt. And we should just preface this, that we talked to him even more about his current job at USL and what he does, how that works, what is USL doing, are they going to do pro? We ask him all the questions.
We're getting all the weeds.
Everybody wants to know. So here, continuation with Peter Wilt.
I want to talk about the Chicago Fire and your time with them, and maybe you can reflect a bit. There was a lot of success while you were there, and what's going on now? Like, obviously, you are wearing the Chicago Fire hat with the
Best logo ever.
Best logo. And after this rebrand, I mean, we have to be honest. People are losing their minds, and it's gotten to the point where they are beating a dead horse. It is getting people are now people who don't like the badge are getting mad at people who publicly do not like the badge because they're tired of hearing people not like the badge.
So the Chicago Fire rebranding, I'm biased, obviously, and it was difficult for me to accept that they were going to rebrand in the first place. I was worried they were going to change the whole name.
Okay.
So I was pleased that they decided not to change the name.
All right.
And I came to accept the fact that the logo would be changed. As it came out, I tried to keep quiet about it. I didn't want to be the lead person on opinions of
Because
it.
your voice is too powerful in that sense. In that community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I waited to see the public reaction. It didn't take long.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, the negative reaction, well, first of all, any change is difficult for people to accept.
course.
No matter how great a change it would have
Yes.
been, there have been some people, especially the longtime fans, that would have pushed back on it. But the preponderance of fans that pushed back certainly indicated that there's an issue with the aesthetics of the logo. And I'm no art major, but I tended not to like the changes that were made. Specifically, I guess, the color changes, the lack of iconography with Chicago, the symbolism, lack of carryover of anything of the original mark. That being said, I had less of an issue about where the logo ended up than I did with the process. There didn't seem to be much transparency in the process, and there didn't seem to be much communication with longtime fans in the process. And I think if they would have just done those two things, even if they ended up where they did, there would have been much less pushback than there ended up being. Transparency.
And probably less anger.
Absolutely. I mean, the transparency and connection with the fans is always going to create a sense of ownership of the end product by the fans because they were involved in the process.
Right. It seems to me like someone like yourself, especially being in that market or any market, and you having success with your brand of leadership, which is involving the fans and being almost one with the fans and creating a bit of a bridge. You're almost like an ombudsman between the front office and
well,
the
because
fan
the
base.
team really belongs to the fans. Owners and management are temporary. They're caretakers.
Right.
Hopefully they're there for a long time, but eventually it's passed on to someone else.
My point is,
the fans are there forever.
If they saw you be successful, why isn't everybody doing what you do? Why don't we have 100,000 Peter Wilts out there, man? What is going on? I don't understand. If everyone hates you, why would you dig deeper? And that's not one person in particular. I'm talking about there's a slew of people in the front offices that feel like, no, the wall between me and the fans, when you were the other way.
I think there is a human nature when you get a position of leadership to make all the decisions yourself, and it's a natural thing for management to be top down instead of bottom up. That being said, there's much more bottom up approach to soccer leadership now than there used to be.
Okay.
NWSL, you look at the work Elise LaHue is doing at
incredible.
Sky Blue. I was fortunate to hire her as my first intern with the Chicago Red Stars.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And we were talking earlier, and I was congratulating her on all her success, and she very nicely gave me credit for her leadership style, and she's giving me too much credit for that. But I think there's much more of that nowadays, and especially with younger leaders, they get it. But even in MLS, you look at, Portland has done a good job. Sporting Kansas City,
Yeah.
Rob Heineman has done a good job. And where you have those examples, I think the relationships between the fans and the front office, it may not be perfect, but it tends to be better.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just it's impressive, right? And I enjoy hearing about your history and a lot of work, because again, like I was saying before, there's a lot of things do not happen in American soccer if Peter Wilt is not helping build it.
Yeah.
And I know that you are currently working with USL. What is your role and what you're trying to do there?
It's pretty exciting. I was running Forward Madison, and they approached me about helping them with new market development,
Okay.
essentially. They have me also working with some of the existing teams, but mainly I'm working with new markets on developing the supporters culture in those places, so that when these new teams start up, they're not starting up in a vacuum, but they already have an existing fan base, specifically supporters,
Sure.
that are helping guide them
Yeah.
and helping create the excitement in the community. There's examples of this already. To me, the shining examples are the Sons of Ben in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
around for a couple of years before the Union was around. And then the same in Indianapolis, where I started Indy 11. The Brickyard Battalion was actually working to bring professional soccer to Indianapolis for several years before Ursula Ozdemir and myself went public and started the team. And having that supporters base in a community really makes it more of a broad base, community driven effort that's likely to succeed, rather than that top down rich guy says, I'm buying a franchise, all right, this is what the name is, this is what the prices are, open the doors, buy.
Yeah. And also, I'll buy a couple supporters. Just stand here and cheer. It seems to me like when you look at soccer on the overall, it's really exciting. You look at these USL clubs; they're popping up left and right. USL now has 3 levels, if I'm not mistaken. There's USL
Championship, League 1 and 2.
And then there's also MPSL. And I say, here's my question: team like Forward Madison, a team like pick any other USL team, how are they making money if they're not able to continue to grow or rise up to a different level? And I'm not saying that they need that. I just don't understand, how is it that they're successful if they're sort of stuck in this middle position? And maybe I just don't understand it.
Yeah, well, I think from a true, if your question is about profit loss, making money, not making
Essentially,
money,
how are they staying open? It doesn't have to be
there's-
necessarily actual cash
I mean,
influx.
there's 2 ways of looking at it. One is from operating capital.
Yeah.
You're profitable on an annual basis or not, and the other is the valuation of the franchise.
Right.
Are you going to be able to sell the team in 10 years for more than you've invested over those 10 years? And on the latter aspect, I don't think professional soccer has ever been in a better place than it is now. It's because of the stability of the leagues, particularly MLS and USL, where 10, 15 years ago, people might have looked at those 2 leagues and said, maybe they'll be around in 5 years, maybe they won't be. But now, especially with all the infrastructure, the brick and mortar that's being built in both leagues, there's assurances that these teams and the league will be around, which allows the valuation of those teams to grow and grow. So even if they are losing a little bit of money on an annual basis, they can make it up when they eventually sell the team. I mean, MLS's valuation skyrocketing is a remarkable story.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
It's somewhat supply and demand. It's all supply and demand. There's obviously a limited supply, though we don't know what that limit is. Maybe 40.
Don Garber's raising the limit every week.
Yeah.
I don't
I think the guy's got a gambling problem. What's happening here? He's got to pay off some big debts. If someone
offered you $350 million, would you not find a way to give him another?
100%.
Hey,
yeah.
you know,
there would be 700 teams in MLS if I ran MLS. I'm not saying I'd be good at the job. I'd just be like, yo, I can't hear you because of the wall of money I built.
You know, it's a big country, a lot of zip codes. You
Yeah.
should really have a team in each one.
Yeah, so what? I put 3 in the same block. They got money, I got a team.
You must not like competition.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What do you just want, one team, dude? Is that what you want? Give me $7 million. I'll give you one team. If someone told you in 1980, what was it, 4 when you started with Milwaukee Wave?
87.
87. If someone in 87 said to you, hey, I'm you in the future, someone's going to give a top flight league $350 million to put a club in the South, what would you have said?
Yeah, crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy talk, especially outdoor soccer. I mean, back then,
That wasn't even a thing.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple semi-pro teams. There's nothing in Wisconsin. But yeah, indoor soccer, I might have said, no.
Yeah. Outdoor soccer, you would have pepper sprayed me.
Yeah.
If I said, all right. What it do, Wody?
Okay, look, we're surprising each other.
Peter Wilt's not going to understand any of this if he's watching this episode. But we talk a little bit more with him about, some of the playoff system, just a couple of different things about what he feels about sort of the American soccer structure as it is right now and the stuff that he's done. So check it out. We got more with him. A lot of fans, especially that we talk to, are newer fans. So they see the league where it is, and they want it to be the Premier League. They want it to be Liga MX.
They want pro rel.
And they're like, well, why don't we take what we have and just make it better? And everyone else, especially in your position, is like, have you any idea how lucky we are to even be here? So I love that you sort of do bridge that gap, because we've interviewed some people who are like, you're wrong. And if the Premier League started today, it'd be like the NFL, and the NFL makes more money. And then there's folks like you who are like, I see both sides of the argument. You know, if you were made soccer czar in this country, soccer czar.
I'm not?
Huh? Yeah. I hate to tell you, you got to take that off your business card. If someone made you soccer czar and you got to do whatever you wanted, and it worked immediately as soon as you said it, what's the first change you would make to any part of American soccer right now? And I can hear the gears turning. Already you said I'm not allowed to say that on microphone in your head.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hear me out.
Yes. Get rid of us?
Every 10 minutes of the game,
Yeah.
we throw another ball on the field.
Please tell me that's a joke.
By the end of the game, we've got 9 balls on the field.
Americans want to see
It would
scoring?
be riotous.
Yeah. That's not really the first thing you'd do, is it?
Nah, maybe the second or third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm known for my efforts to start NISA, and which would include promotion relegation, eliminate some of the barriers to entry, and understand all the risks and also the opportunities that entails. I would like someone to try promotion and relegation in this country, almost as an experiment, just to see what the effect would be.
Why can't USL do that? They've got 3 leagues.
It needs. I think they're open to it in the future when all the teams at all their levels have reached business stability
Or solvency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. It's by waiting, it's going to create other challenges of determining, well, if you get promoted or you get relegated, what are the parachutes or the
Yeah.
preventative measures or the, I'll say, penalties to get promoted,
Right.
to pay for going up. But by waiting, there's a better chance that once it's implemented, it will be implemented successfully. I think if you do it now, there's too much of a risk of teams going down, suffering too much and affecting their business, and teams being promoted. They may not be prepared for it. I mean, that's another thought. People don't always think about it. When a team is promoted, do they have the financial wherewithal to perform at a higher division?
Right.
I think it's less of an issue, frankly, for second to third, a third to second. A bigger issue will come if and when a first division league is layered on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and before we let you go, I want to ask one question. Maybe it's a big question, but you've been involved in soccer for a long time. You've accomplished a lot of things. Is there anything that stands out as your proudest achievement or accomplishment in soccer? Your career still has a very, very bright future. You're still accomplishing a lot of things, but is there anything that stands out for you? Like, I'm glad I accomplished that.
Well, on one hand, I'm really proud that people like Elise LaHue are carrying on some of the traditions and styles that I've hopefully have exemplified. But as far as something singularly proud of that maybe people don't think about was starting this little indoor team in Chicago. I think it was 2010, called the Chicago Riot.
Okay.
We had 35 days to put it together.
Wow.
It was a league-owned team because the league was floundering. It was down to 4 teams, and the league owners came to me and asked if I would go to Chicago and start this team. And we put together a representative team in a great venue with unbelievable promotions. It was so much fun, too, because we had no one really to report to.
Right.
And
like, well, if this fails, you gave me 35 days. So let's just do whatever the hell we want.
So I'm kind of proud of that. Obviously, the championships, I'm fortunate to win in 4 different leagues. I think I've started more pro soccer teams than anyone else in history, which is kind of neat. And with the Chicago Fire, I don't think anyone will ever replicate this. We won the Eastern Conference, Western Conference, and the rare Central Conference or Central Division championships.
We're going to have to start making up some conferences.
Incredible. Well, Peter Wilt, thank you so much for joining us. This is an absolute honor. An absolute honor.
And make sure, like, how can people know that you're going to come to their
I
city
don't want
and
people
help?
talking to me.
Yeah, okay. Well, then.
I'm very shy.
Yeah. I think you can tell.
Yeah, at Peter Wilt 1 on Twitter. You can DM me and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
What a great guy. Thank you so much for being here. This is an honor.
Cheers.
Mine too. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
So that was Peter Wilt. How great was he?
Oh, I thought you were going to do another regional.
No. Just now we're back.
Yeah.
We readjust. Now we're talking to soccer fans exclusively. If you're not a soccer fan, stop watching.
Well, then play ball or whatever they yell.
No, we have to talk about a couple other things. Obviously the MLS season is going to be starting pretty soon at the end of February.
It's coming fast.
Champions League is coming soon as well, but there's already rumors about players possibly coming to the league.
Unless there's a strike.
That's right, and that is something we should point out. January 31st is the end of the current collective bargaining agreement. So that's tomorrow.
Well, no, that's Thursday. So
yes. Tomorrow is exactly like this. So anything could happen. We don't know exactly. February 1st. What we can look forward to. Hopefully next week we can say, hey, there's a deal in place and we don't have to worry about anything. But Champions League matches start about 2 or 3 weeks after, into February. And there's not going to be games. MLS teams are not going to be playing if there's no CBA agreed upon.
If there's no CBA, they can't, right?
Exactly.
They'd have to go get a bunch of scabs from, I guess, other leagues, right? Maybe Spike, you're in, buddy. Get in there.
Good news, buddy. You're playing every position. So the
over here, Spike. Getting goal, Spike.
Some of the players that are rumored to be coming into the league. One of them is Rogelio Funes Mori,
who was at FC Dallas's academy.
Yes. And but then he obviously went to Mexico, playing for Monterrey, and obviously just lighting it up.
Doing a great job at Monterrey.
Exactly. I mean, we just saw a bicycle kick in the final. The dude,
Wild disrespectful.
brother of Ramiro Funes Mori,
Right.
Everton legend.
The word legend is now being stretched a bit here.
Okay, I've disrespected the word, to be honest. But yes, but Funes Mori has been great. So the rumor is that he might go to Inter Miami. But Monterrey losing a player like that would be huge. Clearly, they have either they're gonna get
They're going to want money for that.
a ton of money.
This isn't on a free.
and that they have a good replacement in place because he is an important player for them. Also, Pedro.
Apparently got an offer from Inter Miami.
And NYC, or at least rumored.
Showed interest from NYCFC.
Yeah.
Vissel Kobe, which is where David Villa went in Japan, right? They apparently are interested. And the rumor is that they're offering him a ton of money.
Yeah.
And now, looks like Roma is in the game for him.
Yeah, and Pedro, obviously at Chelsea, I think he fell out of favor with Frank Lampard. There's obviously there's like players. Frank Lampard is playing 14-year-olds out there, and they're doing well. So he's like, I don't need this old man.
Yeah.
You're 31?
Yeah,
nah,
like,
man.
He's like, Pedro, I mean, you ain't even on TikTok. How am I supposed to...
I can't.
You want me to try to get you in there like you ain't even doing a whoa.
You don't even know how
You
to
ain't
do
lip
it.
singing?
So you still on Vine, dog? The app is dead.
It's dead. How are you uploading, dog? MySpace?
I can't have this associated with my club.
I'm embarrassed, dude. I think I saw you still using Facebook. Damn, okay, boomer.
Speaking of TikTok, have you seen Alphonso Davies on TikTok?
I have not.
He has been dominating on TikTok, putting out some high quality content.
Really?
Yeah, making fun of his teammates' goal celebrations and different things like that. Yo, follow Alphonso Davies on TikTok. He's dominating Bundesliga and German social media.
Damn, he got a lot of time on his hands.
No, he's doing great out there. Okay, yeah. So there's a bunch more in store. So tune in more after this.
We did it.
We did it again, crushing it.
I mean, people think like, oh, it must be difficult making incredible television. Apparently, no.
Okay, they let any rubes in this room.
But here we are making genius content.
Okay, look, clearly,
Name another show that talks about puppies and TikTok and soccer. I dare you.
So yes, well, thank you again for joining us. Again, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerrero.
Wait, I did that too soon. Make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans. At
Leave
Fubo
a 5-star
Sports.
review, the whole nine, yada, 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 yada.
Subscribe to the
Join
YouTube
Gully
channel.
Squad.
Join Gully Squad. Do all those things. Support us and support Fubo Sports. So, with that said, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And together, what are we?
The Coolest!